Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to the Heartland Hot Dish Podcast. This is where we come to the table and rediscover the connection and meaning to our food and culinary treasures of the Great Lakes region. Join us as we discover the traditions and stories woven into the fabric of the Heartland cuisine, from the iconic dishes that define the Midwest to the hidden gems waiting to be discovered. We'll take you on a mouth-watering journey through the diverse culinary landscape of the Great Lakes area. Get ready to indulge your senses and ignite your appetite as we explore the rich tapestry of flavors that make up the Heartland Hot Dish. All right, we're heading to the fruitier side of Michigan. I do like that title. I'm going to stick with it all the way.
Woohoo!
We're going to talk a little bit about American Spoon. Basically, they are living the dream I had when I first came over to the US. I've mentioned it on other podcasts, but I came over here. I smuggled in illegally canned and jarred products that I was trying to show off to Chef Alex at the Roadhouse.
What's the statute of limitations?
It's probably not enough. I'm still on a green card. I could still be got out of the country pretty quick. But I think I brought in like 18 or 19 different products. One, they got through customs. Amazing. It was like chili jams and like pickled this and elderflower that. Really good stuff. And my desire was to open a business of canning and jarring because I thought it would be wonderful. And I love doing it. And I feel like I'm pretty good at it. And then I realized you have to make thousands and thousands and thousands of those things to make money. These guys made that work and really succeeded exceptionally well. Do you know what the fun fact is, though?
What's the fun fact?
They're exactly the same age as me and the deli.
Oh.
They were founded in 1982, and I think that's really cool.
When did American Spoon first make it onto your cognitive radar?
It was the deli. This was the first time I experienced it, and it was
What year was that? Was ish.
It's got to be like
decade.
2005, 2006, somewhere in that realm. I have to say it was the spoon fruit, so not the jams or the chutneys or any of the other stuff, but the like cherry spoon fruit. So like a looser jam, basically, because everyone's like it gets a little confused in that world of like preserves, jams, chutneys, all the different levels. Yeah, conserves, like the different levels of thicknesses of all of these things. Because I mean, as a Brit, there's like coolies you can add into there. The spoon fruit is just like the appropriate level of thickness, unrefrigerated. Like it's held together just enough, but it also oozes beautifully. I know ooze shouldn't be a great word, but like on that warm piece of buttered toast, it's just phenomenal.
And the fruit is more intact.
100%. You've got those cherries that are in there because that's the one I remember. And again, not purely just Michigan. My mom had a cherry tree in our back garden of the UK, and we get very few of them, and she would make her own. And it reminded me incredibly similarly to that experience.
And Michigan is the cherry capital.
It 100%
right?
is. Yeah.
So you have to tap into that. But yeah, the sour cherry being my favorite because it does like just swirl into room temperature butter on your toast and you get it in every bite and it's just perfect.
I love these folks because, I mean, they've made it big. They're not small in any way, shape, or form anymore, like American Spoon. But they're a family-owned business. They started the right way and they've kept carry on coming up the right way.
I was curious when Marcy first heard of American Spoon.
Sorry.
When was your first encounter with them?
When I first started working at Zingerman's Roadhouse, so that would have been 2013. But they had been so we were using them regularly on the menu at that point, and we had jars available for retail.
Yeah.
So they were.
We were one of the
well-established by
few
then.
bulk purchasers. Like we got them in the big like gallon plastic tubs.
Actually, they came on my radar in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
You're an early adopter.
I guess. Well, I was out in California though, so
Interesting.
Really?
But still, in California, right? Good food becomes just the air you breathe in Northern California.
Sure.
And was reading all of the magazines, the gourmets, Bon Appetits, right? Savour, and they were just part of that landscape of better American foodstuffs.
Well, they don't.
Farm
There's
to
just not
table.
so much garbage in there. It's
Yeah.
very simple.
Right.
I mean, it's very hard to do that well, and I don't think that if there's anything their praises aren't sung for enough is that to do that well and not have to mess that up is really hard.
Well, and it's all small batch production,
Yes.
which is
Well, some of these flavors
mind-blowing.
disappear forever.
Yeah, because it's all copper kettles. They had what is it, a team of 11 who
Yep.
does it. And so like as you're just saying, you're doing thousands and thousands and thousands of these, but they're doing it in a small production facility.
Yep.
with the same methods that they've been using since 1982.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
so long before I moved here to Michigan, I had a buddy Jim who I went to college with, and his family is Michigan. He had a lake house up in Petoskey,
Okay.
and I came out here for
One of the
the.
most wonderful places in the world.
It was
Petoskey.
gorgeous, but so as excited I was for Jim and his ceremony, I was equally excited that it meant I was going to actually be able to visit American Spoon. So I got to visit them, and not just that, but in Northern California, while we had a lot of produce and a lot of just availability of great fruit, one of the things that was not out there was sour cherries.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So getting to come to Michigan, the cherry capital of the world, and getting to go up north and have.
It's definitely has to be how they started themselves to get out there more, was their sour cherry.
Sour cherry,
For,
right.
for sure. I think when you, I've got it up, but the American Spoons About Us page, there's some like wonderful photography of them in the 80s. I
Yeah.
mean, it looks exactly what I have fond memories of people looking like that and whatever. And these absolutely joyous, like hippie folks just
Yeah.
like going at it, like enjoying what they're doing, making miniature small batches of all of this and doing it right. Because when you get into preserving and needing to make thousands and thousands and thousands of jars, that is not the normality. When we do it here and we were just talking about pancake mix, we make and mix each pancake batch by itself because I am too paranoid that the blend will never be blended enough and you will miss something. It's the same when we make meat pies. I need to know you have that much beef in each one. I need you to not be cheapened. What is the one where the blueberry muffins is that isn't that off of Spaceballs the movie? Where he doesn't
Oh.
have enough blueberry muffins in there and he makes him go back to get more? No?
It
Sorry.
very well may be.
I hope that is
It's
correct,
been
but
a
it's
long
very
time since I've seen Spaceballs.
I-
but-
I feel like
Yeah.
he didn't get enough blueberries in it, and he sent him back to the kitchen to get more blueberries, and it had to be more consistent. And he was going to use his ring on him. Sorry,
That's all right.
Drift back into my childhood happy memories of that. I just like that their About Us page. There's a lot of businesses, probably including mine, that have fine About Us pages. These make you feel really good about what they do, and they're very honest. Like these are not cleaned up photos. These are from the 80s. There's, people with beards with no beard nets on or hair nets in and like living the good life, but they're doing the real thing. Like
Yeah.
they've got their kids out there and it just seems so honest. And I feel like they kept to that within
Right.
the size they've got to nowadays.
And the thing I remember, besides the jelly being so good, when I had it, was just how fabulously expensive the whole thing was.
Oh my
right?
goodness.
Yeah.
And right, but
Reassuringly
yes,
expensive.
No, right, and it's amazing because they do so much work, right? They work with the producers. Everything is processed by hand. You can only do so much when you're working with those copper kettles.
Yep.
Right. Right. So they're charging the amount of money that they need to charge for it, and it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, agreed. And I remember that in 2013, it was like $10 a jar at the Roadhouse, and being like, "Whoa, okay." But yeah,
You got
totally
to know.
worth it.
Well, I'd say they're like the Hermes version of the preserved world, or like Lambert. What's his name?
Oh, Robert Lambert.
Robert
Robert
Lambert
Lambert.
with his fruit.
Mhm.
These guys are the cream of the crop, the top of the top, and they
Right.
still stay there. To stay there as well from all the way from the 80s till now.
Yeah.
And they have a following. I mean, I know lots of people who have some resentment and hate in their hearts for the flavors that have come and gone. Because most of everything they've ever made are delicious.
Mhm.
But I think Lee's one of them has had, I really wait for this to come back. I think it was a rhubarb preserve or something. When we were talking the rhubarb podcast, she talked about them.
So there is a rhubarb one that they have, and
There was
I've-
some
I got
rhubarb
it
thing
over at
they've
the
taken
deli.
away.
The one that everyone and I haven't had a chance to try, and the one that I'm very jealous of the people who have had a chance is the thimbleberry.
Oh, I've had the
Right.
thimbleberry.
You've had the
Yeah, I've had the
thimbleberries, yeah.
thimbleberry. Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
apparently very challenging to harvest.
It's
yeah, so-
phenomenal.
but-
I think the reassuring expensive is actually a really nice way to like talk about them. Like you feel like you're paying for all the right things happening
Mhm.
behind that jar, and to then have paid that and know that, and then open the jar and not be disappointed. I don't think I've opened an American Spoon product ever and been disappointed.
That's interesting.
Right? Have you? I can't think of anything where I'm like, it might not have been my cup of tea, but it still was very good.
Yes. Right. No, I think there's some things that are not exactly my cup of tea, and I recognize that they're good. I think that for me, the apricot, and I think apricot's just a
Sure.
difficult fruit.
Yep.
But the Red Haven peach preserve.
That's a
just-
yeah.
that's a rock star party bus.
Right.
So this is a sales pitch for everyone to go buy American Spoon and love it.
Right.
I think they're up. I went on the website because I wanted to see how much they're. I think they're up to $13, which isn't a
13.
huge
It's
price
not a
rise
huge
over the
jump.
years
Right.
of back day in the road. But you get to see that
But
sour
it's
cherry
so-
preserve.
Their product is consistent, which
Yeah.
is really hard to do when you think about making sure you're capturing the fruit when it's in season and you're
And their
getting
jars
it
about
locally.
their jars are 9.5 ounces. I know that's not quite it, but it's like a half a pound in each jar. That's not the worst thing.
Yeah. And you don't need a lot because it's so flavorful. So I would say, like, on my toast, I'm using just a scant teaspoon
Yep.
to spread in with my butter, and it's perfect.
I think one of my favorite parts about the Red Haven peach preserves, right, is that I did not know that Michigan grows peaches.
Oh, okay.
Right, it blows
the-
my mind.
The,
right?
the one right next to us, just down the road, brings them in sometimes.
Yeah.
Red Haven.
Don't tell the
peaches.
peach truck.
Yeah, don't tell the peach truck. Yes.
Right, but the thing that American Spoon does, right, is they really specialize in using Michigan grown fruit. And one of the things that I've learned recently is that Michigan is second to California in agricultural diversity.
100%. And then
Mhm.
when all of the droughts were happening in California, there was a lot of California farmers are coming our way. And they still were.
Mhm.
And I'm going back pre-COVID now, so like 4 or 5 years ago, that was a huge movement coming out of California. A lot of very, I shouldn't say famous, of some very influential, some very meaningful farmers have made their way from California and settled into Michigan. And our soil is phenomenal. I mean, the Midwest, to be clear, or anywhere around the Great Lakes, the soil is so good. The ability to grow things, the climate, while having all 4 seasons, is still very, very good to grow some of this stuff. Yeah, to have apricots out here as well.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, the peaches, and also the varietals of the strawberries. The early glow strawberry preserves have this beautiful earthiness to them, and
I
just
think
like
they
this.
had made a rhubarb strawberry jam at some point in there, and that was so good.
Mhm,
I think
mhm.
it might have had lavender in it as well. They have made these batches, and it's just tiny. Like it must be in like I don't know a couple of thousand jars, and then they just disappear and they're gone forever.
Wasn't it the conserve that Lee was all about? The rhubarb conserve?
Maybe it was the rhubarb.
I
conserve.
think that's the one that she kept talking about.
I
that
think
she-
so I don't know about the two of you in coming into this subject, and it's cool if you don't have anything in your cupboards. Do you know what I've got in my cupboards, and it will make you weirded out the thing I've got in there that I have multiple jars of.
The
'Cause
weirdest thing you have.
the
in your
weirdest thing from
cupboards?
American
Oh, I
Spoon that
see.
I have in there that
Um,
I have held on to, and I quick liquid gold.
That's a good question. I'm gonna guess it's the apple onion. No.
Pumpkin seed salsa.
Oh.
I
Love that
almost
thing.
said that because
And I'm not the pumpkin spice person, but God, that stuff's
I
good.
have never tried it.
Brr.
And
Mm.
when I saw that on their list, I was like, oh my God.
No,
that sounds
no, I have a
amazing.
couple of jars of that.
Is it spicy?
No.
No?
No.
What do you use it
I'm
for?
British. I can't eat spicy. It'll make me cry.
What do you use it for? Do you use it-
Cod.
Cod?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Roasted buttered cod. Put that on the top, and that is my
Oh.
happy. No, it's so good. I know that's not how it's intended, whatever. And it has to be in the fridge. Has to be icy cold.
Oh.
Hot roasted buttered cod. That on the top.
Oh, in the cold.
American
oh,
Spoon.
and you've got
You-
the right.
They have a phenomenal. I mean, okay. This is just some love on this wonderful company. This is not sponsored by them. Zingerman's interacts with them a lot. This podcast has got a lot of Zingerman's members in there. These guys really do their thing incredibly well. I will say the thing I also love is they have so many good recipes, like their recipe format that's in their website connected to how to use their preserves is also very friendly and and the recipes are well written, well documented, well shared. And it's just a celebration of some of those Michigan flavors, and I like that. But they can take my piece of roasted cod with it should probably be like walleye, to be clear, but I do like my line caught cod very much. It makes me very happy. Yeah, pumpkin seed salsa. You
That
should go buy
sounds
some right now.
amazing. Yes.
I don't. Do the deli carries a lot, right?
We do. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's there, and I believe I've seen that on the shelf.
Oh, good.
Yes.
I will buy it for you. Next time you do, you buy it. I will give you the $13 towards it. It's very, very good. I like. It's really good.
So-
I haven't had any of their like. I think I'm now scrolling through them. They've got margarita and Bloody Mary mix. I don't
Oh,
think I've ever had those.
So yes, so I don't like Bloody Marys,
Okay.
generally, and I tasted their Bloody Mary mix, and dear God, that's good.
Did you have it as a Bloody Mary?
I haven't yet, and yeah, and it's largely because I'm not doing that much drinking these days, and and I don't know if Bloody Mary feels very much like a winter. I'm because I don't have a lot of context for Bloody Marys,
Sure.
right? And I'm trying to think about the seasonality of Bloody Marys, but I don't
I
do a
will.
lot
I'm
of
in the wedding business, and so
right.
Bloody Marys are somewhat constant in our world of
Yeah.
what it is. And I like a homemade mix. I've never had theirs. I think that it can't be nothing but amazing. Because
Right.
when I think of these guys, there's another company up in Michigan, Food for Thought.
Mm.
Or they make all of their stuff out of an old middle school that they've turned into a production facility, and they make one of the best. I'm gonna have to Google it in a second, but they make one of the best like red sauces for pasta. It
Wow.
tastes like you just made it. It
Mm.
doesn't taste like it's lived in a can ever, like in a jar. And I shouldn't say a can, but ever been processed. That it's got any preservative. The fact that they've managed to make it taste that fresh. That you feel like you just picked the vegetables, you've brought it inside, you warmed them up a little bit, and now I've served it to you, is how I feel about American Spoon. It like captures the smell of being there and picking cherries. It makes you feel like you're actually where the fruit or the vegetables are, and that is a magic. I think that's what I loved about canning and jarring when I was a big like. That's what I want to do. It's not about making this super sweet thing that's really good with this. It's more of like the essence of where it is and what it is, and it feels like they've done that so exceptionally well.
Well, they have, and not to keep on harping on the sour cherry, but like because they're whole.
Yeah.
Like when you get the preserves, the cherries are whole.
And
Well,
they
on the
I-
spoon fruit they're whole, and the
Yeah.
preserves they're a little
Yeah,
bit
on
on
more.
the
the spoon fruit. Thank
Right,
you.
yeah.
It's incredibly
and
well held together as
it's
well.
incredibly well held together. And one of the things I love to do, because I know like this is a Russian tradition where you sweeten your tea with preserves instead of with sugar.
Oh.
Yep.
I use the spoon fruit because then like the whole cherries have been macerated with the tea. So by the time you get to the bottom, you're like spooning up, literally spooning up the cherries with the tea like soaked into them, and it's absolutely amazing.
I guess the thing I
So
didn't know they made was pancake mix.
pancake mix. So
I feel bad because I make pancake mix. I'm now like, how good is their
Competitive.
but
pancake
this
mix?
is where you have to really love them because they're known obviously for their fruit,
Yep.
right? But then and I guess while tomato being a fruit, like I am curious about like their tomato conserve. I am curious more about like their non-fruit. Like you mentioned the pumpkin seed salsa.
Yep.
So like what
Apple
what
onion jam. That apple
that
onion
Oh,
jam
I
is
don't even think
amazing.
that's on their website right now. I
so
think
more of their savory items.
they have so many, like
Yeah.
Right.
so many special little batches that come and go and disappear, and oh,
Including a tomato cilantro salsa, which is also lovely.
yeah,
Right.
they've got a pasta sauce. I've never tried the American. Have you had an American spoon pasta sauce?
I've not done the pasta sauce. But when we're talking about cherries, the have you had the brandy cherries?
Mhm.
Yeah, the brandy cherries. I prefer those over the Luxardo
After the-
maraschino
yeah.
They
cherries.
make
Right.
peppermint caramel. I feel like I didn't look on their website
Peppermint
enough.
caramel?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. I'm very confused. There's so many products I didn't know they made. Again, that's an impressive thing to go all that way in.
Yeah.
Like they make heirloom. Like it's here. The fact that some of these are on their website, they have to have sold out of them. Like they've got. Have you ever had dams and plums?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm,
They
mhm.
have a dams and plum preserve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've-
Who's an
right.
insane enough person to go? You know what? We're going to make a big batch, which any amount of dams and plums.
I have that on the shelf at the deli.
Sure.
It's
I just
fantastic.
like you yield on that has to be garbage.
Oh,
Like
I see.
could not be fun.
Right.
They've also got heirloom blueberry preserves. Again, the yield on that's got to be horrific.
Sure, but also
And
right.
they're
the-
still the $12.95. I don't under. I get that's a lot for preserve, but like
I think we mentioned that they peel the Red Haven peaches by hand.
they do.
Right,
Yes.
by hand.
Well, they
right?
do everything by hand.
Right. yes.
Everything.
There's got to be like a cash cow product in here that's not as difficult to make
Right.
that they're making money on. I didn't. They've got buckwheat pancakes and wheat and malt pancake, which I like because
Mm.
the pancake mix that we make here at the farm has got malt in it, and I like a malted pancake and the fluffiness in them. It's packaged in a little Hessian sack. I kind of like the looks of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna order some now.
Well, now, which spoon fruit or preserve would you smother on top of those pancakes?
Oh, I guess I want their honeys because I've had their
Their
honeys
honeys.
before. I don't know which one. I got to think which one I had with them. Maybe I'm gonna have to Google it.
Do they have a blueberry?
No, it was like, was it thistle? what's the there's a thistle. I think there's like a star thistle or something like that.
Honey, right.
And I really like the honeys. If I do really like the sour cherry, 110%.
Uh-huh.
But if I was gonna have pancakes, this is where you'll like I lose everyone. I like cheesy bacon pancakes, and I would have that jam. I would have the onion jam on it all day long. I'm a savory
Oh,
breakfast boy all day long. I don't really want
yes.
sweet breakfast.
Yeah.
Somebody brought us, thank you, Emmanuel and Afreem, brought us cinnamon rolls for our house recently that they made. And I'm like, that's great. Who the heck has that for breakfast? That's too much.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want a donut.
Dessert.
I want savory breakfasty thoughts.
Right. My breakfast this morning was fried onion with fried up tortilla, some andouille, and some blue cheese. and an
Nice.
egg. I know.
Mm.
Savory.
Mm.
Super savory.
I mean, I think
Nothing
I'd
sweet.
probably want, and that jam is so good.
Yeah.
The onion jam is so good. And again,
Yeah.
I've made onion jam. We made it 2-3 days ago for a wedding, and we make great onion jam, and I think it's great. The fact that they do it, can it, process it, and it's that good is disturbing. And the amount of time it takes to make you like ours. I mean, I should give you some before you leave today from the kitchen.
Yeah.
Ours is very good. I love it. I spend a lot of time making it. There's tastes like it's just come off the stove and chilled in the. I mean, it's so
Vibrant.
whatever. Yeah,
Right,
their vibrant flavors they've got in
vibrant,
there are so good.
You guys
Deep umami.
thought. Yeah. So grits and bits waffle from the Roadhouse, the bacon cheesy one.
Yeah.
With onion jam smeared into the
100%.
little squares.
Yep.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Just melting into that toasty perfection.
I'm ready.
That-
I'm ready right now.
Yeah.
You should have brought
Alright,
that with us.
For me, if I was going to do a sweet pancake, I would still do the Red Haven peach over the with some
Yeah.
whipped cream.
They
Yeah.
have a. Oh,
Yeah.
it says their bestseller. I didn't even know this thing existed. They've got wild honey mustard. Do you have that at the deli?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I'm gonna go get that. Me and Rick, Rick Strutz, who one of the managing partners at
Sure.
the deli, whenever an order comes, he always sends me some honey mustard. I'm like I'm always a fan.
Right.
I've
It's
never
a
had
little custardy.
Okay.
The American spoon one. So
Cool.
I think if I'm not mistaken, there's egg yolk.
because
in
the
there.
the deli one that you make, which you sometimes have and don't have,
Mhm.
I love.
Gotcha.
But it's once in a
different
blue.
thing.
Yeah, it's a different thing. I'd be interested in what that is.
Have you had
That's what was missing from the brat casserole.
honey,
was-
honey mustard?
Mustard.
Oh, mustard. Right. No, right.
I can get on board with
That's-
that.
Right.
Brown mustard.
Right. Mustard and cream of mushroom soup. I'm not so sure about. I was thinking about mustard, but that
just-
was right.
Just leave the cream and mushroom out. Anyway,
I'm
sorry.
really intrigued by the
You
look of
can't
this.
leave it out.
I'm so intrigued by this pasta sauce. See, I'd love it in my house, but it's got seeds in it and texture.
Yeah.
My kids would lose their mind, but it looks so good.
Right, this is where they sort of lose me with some of the seeds, and where Robert Lambert still also. I don't know if
Sure.
he still makes the jam, but that raspberry champagne jam that he did.
I don't think I've ever had that.
Oh,
Strained of all the seeds, right? What he would do was he would push overripe raspberries through a sieve, so the fruit would get through and all the seeds stayed behind.
I like the
without-
seeds in my raspberry jam.
And then because when you cook the raspberry jam, when you cook the raspberries, it loses some of its floral nature.
Sure.
He then puts these champagne geraniums in to sort of make it taste more raspberry than
Okay.
raspberry.
I mean,
This-
his stuff
it
is
sounds
phenomenal,
amazing.
so I can't.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't laugh at it until I try it. But there's something to be said just about the texture of having the seeds.
I know this is American Spoon. I keep going back to that or saying the food for thoughts pasta sauce. I would love I'm so as the guy who loved canning and jarring. I want to know the magic of how they. Like it's got to be a reduced amount of cooking, as little as possible. Pre-cook, like get things hot. The things you can cook that I haven't got the ability to take away some of that freshness. You want to add the fruit as little as possible. Cook it. There's got to be some fun science of watching them do that.
I'm just amazed that you, as somebody who can cook, would do anything with jarred sauce.
Oh my God, no! The jams and chutneys and things like that I make very. Oh,
Right, but no
homemade,
jarred sauce, right?
homemade. I love a good homemade, a canned pasta sauce.
Canned pasta
Oh,
sauce.
100%.
Right, just or jarred pasta sauce, just like something that you're gonna pour into a.
I love to try them. I will. It's one of those like it's my lazy food at home. I mean, I'm a big homemade. I made pasta today for. We've got a 40th wedding on Friday, and they've got lasagna, and so I made a bunch of homemade pasta. But I love a good jarred pasta sauce all day long. All day long. I don't want Alfredo. I don't want any of the others. But a good red sauce that's canned and jarred. I just don't have enough time
There
to
is no
season.
Alfredo sauce that goes.
I know. I'm sorry. It was just.
I just need to say that
You're all good. You're not wrong.
on the record.
I want nothing but a red sauce, but This American Spoon one, they made a red wine. So if I make pasta sauce from scratch, it's got red wine, it's got Worcestershire. It's too rich for my
Oh,
kids.
but it doesn't have to,
I
right?
know,
You
but
can just do a simple one.
You
but
can do
this
a simple
this
one.
food for thought place made a red wine version of their pasta sauce, which was I'm like, oh my god, I never have to make sauce again. I can just buy this. It's so easy. This American Spoon one looks all chunky and good. Like I would be so happy with. My
Yeah.
kids would run for the hills.
Yeah,
But
they
this,
don't like the
my
chunky
wife, my
sauce.
kids, this would be
Yeah.
a jar just for me.
Yeah.
It's not the cheapest thing in the world. It's like 26 ounces, but $22. Like it's not bad. I just feel like their ability to capture the freshness. That's the thing.
Sure.
So the problem I have, why I like a canned anything, is that I'm usually too busy at that time of the year to make any big batches of stuff. So we'll make stuff for the farm, and then we put it away to keep it for specials. Like, and I say specials like this person's 40th birthday, or we've got a returning guest that's come back, or somebody who really is in love with XYZ. Like, we've got vintage green tomato chutney from the first year we opened. I think I've only got like 22 jars left.
Wow.
Like, that is now liquid gold,
Yeah.
right? Like, I can't redo that in that first year. So no, I like a good pasta sauce. Sorry, we've drifted
Right,
far
wait,
from
wait,
my
wait.
American Spoon journey.
And you just happen to tap into one of my own sort of personal pet peeves, because if you're boiling water to make pasta, in that amount of time that you are waiting for that pasta water to boil, you can bang out a quick tomato sauce
You
on
can.
your own with
But I
canned
need
tomatoes,
I need my
olive
really
oil.
good canned tomatoes then.
Yeah, you start with
Yeah.
really good canned tomatoes,
I
and
know.
you start with good olive oil and good
Mhm.
garlic.
I just live in the world where
We
I
care about food.
Yeah. I'm all about spend the time to make the pasta, and then I want somebody who've made a phenomenal pasta sauce. So, like the food for thought one is the one that's in my house all the bloody time.
Mm.
Do we have Prego? We do have some Prego in our house. We absolutely have Prego.
Well, you have kids.
I do,
Right,
and that's
yeah,
why
right,
I've
yeah,
got one
yeah.
kid that
Well, 'cause it's
adores
sweet.
adores the Prego. But
Right.
you've got
Yeah,
to I've got to
it's sweet.
Vitamix
Sweet,
it,
right?
but I have to Vitamix it and then strain it. I
I
Vitamix it, and there is no need to strain after a Vitamix.
I have
memory-
a confession to make, and I need mine pureed as well. I do not like chunks.
I occasionally, and he'll be like, "It's okay, you don't need to strain it," and then he'll like push the chunks of tomato. Who
Off
knows
to
if
the
they're
side
really
of his
off
plate.
to the side? I'm like,
Yeah.
buddy.
My memory was that Prego was like thin like water in the first place. Is that
No,
not
there's
true?
a
That-
Prego. There's a variety. My
Yeah.
sweet little Henry, my 12-year-old, whenever we go to the supermarket and we make it to that shelf, which we rarely do, he will like pick like a traditional or meat because that's what he normally wants in the Prego world. And then he'll pick some weird and wacky one. Like there's like 20 varieties of Prego of all the weird and wacky
Right.
ones out there now.
Right, maybe I'm thinking ragu.
Maybe
Well,
it's ragu.
same,
Right.
same thing.
It's always
all
been Prego in our house
Yeah,
as
right.
far
all
as that
those
goes.
brands, they like in order to stay competitive, they have all the weird and wacky like things mixed in now.
For sure.
So yeah, if you go to Bush's, like their tomato sauce aisle is insane.
Now, back to American Spoon, because one of the few things that we haven't talked about, and it's one of the products that they have that I love. Have you guys had any of their fruit curds?
No.
So they have a lemon curd, which is very.
Oh, I have had
The
that. I'm
lemon
sorry.
curd.
But
Yeah.
the one that I think is even better is the citrus passion fruit curd.
No, but I would love that.
Yeah.
There's not enough passion
Yes.
fruit used in this world.
No, agreed. I love passion fruit.
That's amazing. It's got a slightly
Yeah.
thinner texture to it, but
Yeah.
but super bright and
Mhm.
right and like all of their stuff, right? Really clean, true flavors.
It is that ability for them to capture that essence of that time of the year when it's just super impressive.
Now, have you ever been up to Petoskey in the summertime and seen checked out the gelateria?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
So I don't know if this is on their website, but I went somewhere
kidding.
right a few years back, and we're just driving around Michigan and pulled into Petoskey, and it was summer, and there's a gelateria there now, and they've
Mm-mm.
taken everything that they know about fruit and working with fruit and turned it into gelato.
I can but imagine how amazing
It is so right. It is. It's worth a 2-hour detour.
Do they have a
Sure.
passion fruit gelato? Because now I'm all about the passion fruit. I want to make a tart out of this passion
Oh,
fruit curd.
see, I rarely do, but I've occasionally taken
Yeah.
that like preserves and turned those into cakes or tarts.
Yeah.
Like they make a really good like wild strawberry one, small batch one,
Mhm.
and I've made our Victoria sponge cake with that in it with fresh whipped cream. Oh,
Mm.
that is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
it is. I sincerely mean this. It is better than I can make that preserve.
Sure.
I don't know the magic. I don't. I wish it. There's sometimes when you learn the magic behind some of it as a chef, you're like, oh, Well, that was obvious. You just didn't put that thing in it, and you didn't time it in this specific. The fact that they have managed it is it hurts my brain. It makes me sad that I am useless as a person.
In your copious free time, you should probably do a stage up there.
I should.
Yeah.
That would be. I mean, that'd be a nice retirement gig. Get up there with them, but I just. It's not normal even in the preserve world. Like there aren't many people that out there doing that kind of work. And I'd say Robert Lambert as not the preserve side,
Sure.
but like somebody who's not gone fallen off the cliff and decided to mass produce some garbage at the end of it. Like because they've got a very good reputation. They've held it. I've to this day, like I think you said it. There's products I don't like that aren't my cup of tea. They're still good. I can still sit there and go, yeah, that's tasty. It's not what I'm going to eat right now. I mean, they've got a lot of their peanut butters and different things out there for them.
Right. And then, you know, there's some
Yes,
places,
I don't like peanut butter.
and there are some people who are doing some great work with jams and jellies all over the country, but
100%.
I don't think they're on the same scale. Like, right, I think about California, I think about like June Taylor and
Sure.
Frog Hollow and like
Yep.
you know exceptional, exquisite stuff.
There are wonderful small producers, but I always say like Singerman's Bakehouse.
Mhm.
I actually think that we as a company should be and are in my brain, should be more famous for how exceptionally good that bread is.
Sure.
Zingerman's Bakehouse's bread is exceptionally good, regardless of the amount they make. And then they make thousands of loaves, and that hurts my brain. The fact that their quality can be that good in
At
the
that
sheer
scale.
volume that they do,
Still shaping things by hand.
I know,
Yes.
I
Right.
like,
Yes.
and doing
Milling their own grains.
right. The reason they choose to do those things is that the right reason. It has an effect. It has a value, as Tom Root from Mail Order would say. Its value proposition is valuable to the guest, so I'm going to do it. There is value that American Spoon do to make their preserves, to make them exceptionally good. The reality is it's worth paying for. And I'm not upset about that small jar. It doesn't make me upset. I will eat it carefully and respectfully, and I'll eat less of it. Like I do not I've got some crappy apricot preserves in my fridge right now, and I will dollop a crap ton of that on a piece of toast. When I have theirs, no. It is a small schmear, and I'm going to enjoy it.
Right.
No, I'm going to.
And I think the interesting thing, and it's a sort of a point of distinction, is that you know, because I'm the same way, right? But it's not about using less of the fancier stuff to try to
need
save
to, no.
money,
You
right?
don't
It's
need as
right.
much.
It's because it is so good and so satisfying that a little goes a long way.
No, its bang for its buck
Yes.
that's the bit where we have talked about a piece of crew out of Montreal, their spices. You do not need as much. It is not a price saving thing. It is going to cost you a lot more to buy it, but you do not need. Is it probably still more expensive? Sure, it probably is still more expensive, but the bang for your buck feels a lot better when you know you don't need as much. Our recipes here, when we went to meet them, I think we went to a partners group in Montreal, and I didn't know about them before that. I think the deli was using them, but it had washed over me a little bit. Like there's a lot of things that come through Zingerman's, and when we went there, I was like, oh, okay. And I had to rewrite recipes here for that reason. And I think the same thing, American Spoon, you might be like, oh, I'm going to use this in my Victoria sponge cake, or I'm going to make a bundt cake with this stuff, or I'm going to have this with something. You don't need as much just because it tastes so freaking good.
Right.
And you want to enjoy it and slow down and enjoy it. Maybe it's a diet. Maybe this helps you lose weight. American Spoon, helping you lose weight every day. Those things are amazing. I don't think I've had their lemon curd. Tabitha is a big lemon curd snob here.
Yeah.
She loves the lemon curd.
I love their lemon curd.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I've ever had it.
Yeah.
I think other things like their mustard I've not had
Right.
before.
The citrus passion fruit curd I'm going to put over their lemon curd.
Okay.
It's a little less eggy, a little brighter.
I'm intrigued where their peanut butter comes from and what they do with their peanuts. I don't think I've seen
never tried their peanut butter. Do they make other nut butters or just?
that. It looks like they did. I'm going to go into the butter world.
I'm
and
not a
go
big
for
peanut butter person anymore anyway.
it. Okay.
For a lot of reasons. So I tend to like gravitate more towards the almond or the cashews, and I found that Germac has done a really great job. But
They make peanut butter and almond. I just
Yeah.
wonder where they're getting the nuts from. I say it just out of intrigue.
Right. But it makes a lot of sense, from a business perspective. If you've got all this jelly,
Well, I'm sure like they
you
make
need peanut butter.
they
to go
make
with it.
pancake mixes and they make biscuit mix. Why
Yeah.
would you not?
Yeah.
I'm also going to guess they're exceptionally really good, like in that world,
Well, I'm
because I
sure they
don't think
are.
they play in that mediocre game at all. I think when you said it, I was saying about the bakehouse and the sheer volume that Zingerman's Bakehouse's bread they make, and it's still so good. I mean, I cannot I cannot remember a bad loaf of bread. Maybe slightly misshapen occasionally, but I don't even remember that. Like it's been a long that sesame semolina. Whew, the Pisano roll that we have there. It's the same with these guys. They're not small production.
Right.
It's kind of disturbing how big they are. And you said like where they are in this country, they stand out in the crowd for being such a high production and such high quality at the same time. That is an odd place to be.
Yeah.
And there are definitely small batch producers in this country kicking their butts maybe on some stuff, but like I don't know, American Spoon stands up there as something I will always have in my
And they
cupboards.
started off by picking fruit for restaurants.
I know.
Like
There's sweet boxes of them, like picking through cherries and peaches, and like they look like the kind of pictures you wish you had when you start. We're a 10-year-old wedding business. I wish I had more pictures of when we started. They've got these like magic perfect photos. I'm like, wow, somebody was paying attention back then. Yeah, with their good old Kodak camera.
They knew they were making history.
They did, and I love that they're the same age as me. They have matured just as well as I have over all of these years.
You know about the monks who make jelly up in the Upper Peninsula? So there's a monastery. I think it started somewhere around the 80s in the Upper Peninsula. They make jams and they make fruitcakes. And my understanding was that that they actually learned to make some of their jams from the American Spoon folks who taught them about the thimbleberries. And then an unintended side consequence was that now all of a sudden there were two enterprises competing for the
thimbleberries,
the foragers, and
sure.
Now nobody gets thimbleberries.
It's like the liquid gold of being up there in that world of it.
The thimbleberries.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's like when you do hedgerow picking in the UK. There's just some things that are just hard to get by.
Do you remember what the thimbleberries taste? Just to like pour
salt in the wound.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know, like a golden mulberry kind of finish to it.
Okay.
Would be a good.
Right. Yeah.
And mulberries can be like non-flavorsome, but like a ripe mulberry is a really good descriptor of it, but not a red.
Yeah.
No. No, I'm trying to think of.
It's really its own thing. It's tart. It's sweet. It's right.
No, and like when I'm thinking of like that, the mulberries is not over here because mulberries over here are not the same thing. Like I had them at this wonderful wine distributor had mulberry trees in his back garden. I went over and we used to make jam from his mulberries, and he had a golden mulberry juice. And we used to do it with elderflower. But no, I think like a tart version of a mulberry is a good descriptor of it, where it is. I swear though. American Spoon have like secret labels that come out that are never on their shop that no one knows about, and like it's like an underground of the small batches that turn up.
I'm on their catalog mailing list, so I get their catalogs periodically.
I gotta imagine like they've got like the friends and family only batch that goes out the door to people of what it is.
The way they describe it, it's unfortunately not available. It is sold out. But
Yeah,
there's
always
a
sold out.
description.
It's been sold out for 42
right.
years.
Fragile scarlet-colored berries gathered along the cool, rugged Lake Superior coast, with a tartness reminiscent of currants and raspberries, a unique floral nature that hints at roses and soft, nutty flavored.
See, I like like a golden mulberry that's like got a slightly soury taste to it is a good descriptor. It's I mean it's magic.
Yeah. No, it sounds great. Right.
You may never have it in your lifetime.
I may never. Right. But one of the things that I love to do. It's like one of my favorite foods to eat is a piece of bakehouse bread toasted with either butter or olive oil and some jam.
Yep.
Right? And
No,
a little flaky salt.
A piece of warm paisano, not toasted, just in the jar, and like some of that like semolina gets in there as you scoop out a little bit of it. That's why I like that warm bread.
It was available again back in September.
Sure, for 3 seconds.
It's
like the
You just have to
Hermes.
keep your eye out for it. You have to be
The
ready.
mini Kelly of the American Spoon.
If
You
your
just can't get
finger's
hold of.
hovering over the button.
Maybe there's some sort of Google searching app.
I know that we're recording this down in Dexter today, but this might be one to take up on the road, take all the equipment, and we could get up there. That'd be kind of fun. Go out for a
That'd
couple of
be fun to
days.
go visit
Go
them.
go chat with these folks
I'm sure
eyeball to
they'll love
eyeball.
us. Yeah.
In the summer when we can have gelato.
No, I'm being completely sincere. We were talking about our road trips. We did a pizza road trip, which we'll be recording our proof of concept from our road trips, which will justify us always traveling around the Midwest. I love the idea of going up there and doing it with these guys because they probably are the most like distinctive one that you could probably get anywhere further afield than where we are, or like a product that gets shipped well outside of the Midwest as well. Because we talk about some things you have to come here and get, which is great. That's what we want for the Great Lakes area. But this is something, like you said, you can get all over this country, and they do such a good job of it.
Mm.
Yeah. I just want some American
shipping.
How many
jams.
different products does the deli carry? Because mail
I'll-
order's got a good smattering, but
Yeah.
you've got way more at the deli.
Oh, there's a big wall of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to go get some. I do.
Road trip.
Road trip to the deli right now. Joni, I'm sorry, I will be late home tonight. I'm not picking up the kids.
And you should try the Bloody Mary mix.
Yeah, it's
It's so bright, so fresh. Right?
I
It's all those
100%
things.
believe it. They had a margarita mix in here as
Right,
well, which
and-
my wife adores margaritas. So maybe that's something to come get.
Well, any time to get up to Petoskey is totally worth its while anyway.
Yes.
Just to visit the beaches in the area. I know it's a touristy area, but
It's touristy for
yeah.
the right reasons.
it's touristy for the right reasons. It's beautiful up there.
Yeah, all of that up there and traveling, like going up to see Tandem Cider. I mean, if there is somewhere you should go when you're up there, have you been to Tandem?
I did not go to Tandem.
Those people, their switchel in their little like tap room of where they are. One of them's a Brit, and they used to bicycle around, which is why different places. Their switchel's really good up there. But again, that's like when I think of American spoon stuff, it's like walking around the Tandem Cider apple fields is how I feel. I do like that they don't make like apple butter and stuff because I hate that stuff. Do you like butters?
Apple butter? So I as a kid who grew up in in New York, I still remember in I think it was like kindergarten. We went out to an orchard and we picked apples and we brought it home or brought it into the classroom and we cooked them down into apple butter. So it fits into this.
It's
this
such a
early memory of mine.
It's not a label for a chutney or preserve back home. Butter. Like it's not like I think when there was a lady that used to work at the coffee company that made our first few batches of preserves. I should give you some. I've still got them from the day we first opened. But she made butters, and I was just like, it's not my thing. I don't get it. I'd rather have an apple chutney or an apple, puree. I don't really want that. I don't know what I'm going to do with that other than put it on bread. It loses its usefulness in my world when it became a butter. I don't know.
Spoon it into yogurt.
Sure, but then it's just a preserve. Like I feel like I could take the sour cherry stuff. I can use that into something. I can make it into other things.
Right.
The butter has you've processed it too far down the rabbit hole, and I am stuck with it being this.
In its
Right,
thing.
right.
I know.
like
I just also like that they don't have that. I don't know if I've had their strawberry preserve, so maybe it is their early glow strawberry preserve. Is that all they've ever called it? I feel like I've had their strawberry preserve is so good. Like it's so fresh.
The early glow is the one that I'm familiar with.
Yeah,
and
maybe
as
it's
a-
always been called that.
Right.
And
And
it
as
has
a,
some good names.
right, and as a varietal, but it's a varietal, right? So as a varietal, it's got that sort of. I think I described it before as deep and earthy.
You said you didn't like their
No.
apricot, right?
Oh,
The Leela. No, it's okay to not like something. It was not
Right.
your favorite.
Yeah, I think it's I love the flavor of of just fresh ripe apricots, and I think that's just a hard thing to
Sure.
translate into a jam, and where everything so it's it's tart and it's I don't know, I can't imagine a better apricot jam.
Sure.
I think it's just an apricot jam.
I have always said that there are some things that are like the smell of a tomato plant.
Mhm.
There was a what is it called? Dalesford in the UK. They make a candle, and it smells like a tomato plant. Not a tomato, but like the greenery,
Sure,
those
yeah.
little hairs on the backs of the leaves.
Yeah.
And the smell and sweet smell of that is just magic. And so it's very hard to capture that smell, those free radicals that are just disappearing in the universe
Right.
instantaneously, and to put that in preserve.
there's a cologne company called Demeter that does the same thing.
We've drifted. I love this
Yeah,
now. We've
yeah.
truly drifted.
But
now.
it's the tomato plant essence that they've captured in a bottle, and it's absolutely incredible. It's not like a sweet tomato.
Yeah.
fruit,
I find tomato like earthy as a smell.
Right.
and, like,
exactly.
But this is
yeah.
the brilliance of the Red Haven peach and all of their cherry stuff, right? Is how it's just like, oh, this is the fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, who I should have looked more when we go talk to them, just who the magician was that got it right from
Mm.
get go. And again, I'm gonna just assume, not even hating on anything, but just it was not pre-trained or some deep dive into something. Just the honesty of like being innocent in making it and just be like, oh, You just use these very simple ingredients and they're not screwed up.
Yep.
You
Right.
take something really good and you try not to screw it up. Right? As chefs, we get too far down the rabbit hole of we just did it in our casserole, like of adding all the weird and wacky things in. No, just be really excited about cherries, and those cherries just sing.
But even in places where they go and put in the weird, wacky things,
Yeah.
like in the onion apple jam,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. And my pumpkin seed
It
salsa.
works,
Fine.
right?
Brrr.
But notably, right, those are not the products that they launched with.
Sure, no, not at all. They've got granola. You guys, you don't carry that because you guys make the granola out of the
Right,
desert.
we have
yeah.
You make granola.
Yeah.
And we work with another company.
Yeah.
You do. It's got
Yes.
coffee.
Tef.
Yep. Yep. Sorry, drifting into my world. What is? I just think like the honesty of these folks is kind of the most disturbing part.
Well,
of it.
I think what really sets them
It's just
apart-
and to still be 42 years later. I'm 41 now, but turning 42. You are. It is hard to do in 2025 to still be doing the same thing and not screwing it.
Especially expanding to scale, working with produce and working with farmers and local
Mail order
stuff,
catalogs and getting
right?
it out there. Yep.
Because this is a thing where you see businesses fail all the time.
And they've gone up
Yeah.
$3 since Marcy was introduced to them.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
But-
And that's nothing considering what they're doing because if you think about it, like preserves and canning, people often reserve that for unwanted fruits or leftovers, things
Yep.
that you're not going to use and haven't kept their integrity for like your main dishes or whatever you're using them for. But what they're doing is they're taking the best ripened fruit, and the beauty of the fruit in Michigan is with those cool breezes coming in from the coast, they have a longer time to ripen on the plant, and that gives them a good window in which to forage for these naturally and capture them at their best. It's not just cast off leftover fruit.
I guess they survived, they've thrived,
Yeah.
and they've
As they
continued to
should
do the right thing.
Yeah.
That is some really hitting the lottery multiple times for them and for us as the consumer out there for them.
Yeah.
And also doing the really great work of promoting and highlighting Michigan grown fruit,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? And farms
100%.
and
There,
farmers.
there's a lot of
They know they have a gold mine up there.
right, but I think like I think it said 4 generations now. I can
Mhm.
look. Yeah, it says 4 generations to make a business that your kids also want to carry on. Like that's striking lightning
Sure.
again. Like that's
Yeah.
not normal. Even and again, you might be like, "Oh, cool, it's a cash cow now. Let's." You get to the 4th or 3rd generation, like, great, let's really make some money. That hasn't happened.
Yeah.
What great! I mean, just to have raised a family that wants to support and continue to do that and understand their place in the journey of protecting the farmer's ingredient and giving it to you in their very best way. I think that's very magical. Even with small producers, I made great canned products. I really did. They're amazing. I'm really proud of them all. That is a hard thing to do at scale.
Yeah.
Hard thing to do to make a business where people want to participate and come in and be part of. And I mean, all of their social. I hope their staff are as happy as they seem on all of their social medias, and I'm going to presume they are because they probably get an endless supply of American Spoon products. But like,
they get to eat it every day.
that is a hard thing in our industry. That is exceptionally hard to do, to bring such joy and do such value work.
You have to be
I don't know. I'm kind of
committed
jealous.
to that process.
I might end
yeah.
up at the end of the podcast kind of hating them and how well they have done. and all of those
I
things.
thought you were going to go over there.
No.
I thought it was the opposite.
Kieran-
It's my Britishness. It fights back.
Kieran, are you jelly?
I am jelly of. Well, I said at the beginning, like they're doing the thing I probably want to do. They do have a few weirder, wackier products that I didn't know about, like the margarita and Bloody Mary mix. I just hadn't heard of them, or the pasta sauce, which maybe isn't weird and wacky. But they kind of stayed true to the things they want to do. They don't just do things because it would sell better and it's a product that people are going to love. I feel like they've picked things that truly do speak to a really great fruit or a vegetable, or that somewhere in their family is like, you know what, we should really have mustard. There should be a really good honey mustard in here or something like that. I feel like that's how those products exist because some of them are a little desperate on their own, right?
Yep.
Like, and yet,
the whole seed mustard is also lovely.
okay,
Right.
I also haven't had that, and I'm a big mustard
Yep.
nerd. I love me some mustard, so that I should come to the deli and come.
Love me-
I'll tell Rick to send it on my next care package out
Love
this
me
way.
some mustard too, especially with some brats.
We just look. We haven't talked about sour cream this episode. I don't think we could.
Oh,
I th-
absolutely we could.
I think 100% we could talk about sour cream.
Right, because one of the
I
best
found a way
things-
to get sour
right,
cream into this
one of the
episode.
best things that the deli makes, which is rarely made, are the blintzes. Have you had Wallow's blintzes? Yeah, so Bill Wallow is one of the chefs over there.
Yeah.
Makes these insane blintzes.
Uh-uh.
Buttery pancakes, fills them with cream cheese from the creamery,
Yeah.
and then some American spoon fruit jam on top, along with sour cream.
When are these on?
Whenever, sometimes they're Jewish holidays, sometimes for catering menus. It's
I think we just
almost
need to-
never.
Next time I need to
I-
text.
Right.
No,
this
Kieron,
one.
you just need to make them for us with your pancake mix. And
I will say our pancake mix is I do love our pancake mix.
Yeah.
And then, of course, once the blintzes are assembled, they're then fried in butter.
Well,
because,
clearly,
yeah,
why would you not
do
fry
that.
anything in butter? It sounds phenomenal.
Right. Tender, rich, but the American spoon stuff just totally sets it up. It would not be the same without their incredible preserves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just making the blintz.
Have you had that maple syrup?
I've not had the maple
You
syrup.
had the maple syrup? I also have not had that maple syrup.
no, but I'm sure it's
My kid's a
amazing.
maple syrup snob. My sister lives in Vermont, and so she sends him like weird. Well, maybe not weird. She does not send weird. She sends very small batch Vermont maple syrup.
I still miss the days when maple syrup was called grade B, and you could get the good stuff for less money.
Do they have any fruit syrups?
I don't think so. I didn't see
No
them.
fruit syrup?
I'm not going to go back and Google because I'm now on their social media and just seeing kids pouring syrups over things. It makes me very happy. I don't know. There's something joyous. I'm sincere. Like their socials make me happy, and they don't seem contrived or.
Right.
And they've got their own independent store. I mean, they're a big business. They're
Right.
not tiny anymore in any way, shape, or form. Yet their product feels like it is still small, tiny batch.
Right, because they have a store outside of Petoskey, right?
Yep.
They have what, Traverse City? Is that
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
I don't know. Very jealous. I'm very jelly. I'm
Well,
very
yeah.
jelly of very jelly of these people.
and I think we can do a future episode on Michigan maple too,
Yeah,
because that has like
I
great
don't. I think
alliteration.
maybe we get up there and we could have like a well-timed vacations for us at the same time,
Yeah.
and this is what we do. And somehow we'll get like Pure Michigan to pay for it or something. All right, my lovelies. Thank you so much. I think that this has been one of my funnest and also saddest episodes. In the fact that I just feel like I failed as a chef, and I can't do anything as good as these. I don't. These folks really make magic happen in a jar.
You just
I'm
have
still-
to say a little prayer that American Spoon won't try making gravy.
Oh my god! I will say this, American Spoon. I really hope you listen to this episode, and then we come up this year and do a live. Maybe we'll do a live one. We could do a live one.
And don't make gravy.
Ooh.
Don't. And if you do, come talk to me, and we will make and jar. My God, if we jarred my turkey gravy,
I know.
because it is
Right.
magic.
Yeah.
My
How-
turkey
how
gravy is
have
magic.
you not done that yet?
Well, but it's because see. I was going to end this right now, but I think the other thing that got into like the legislation of canning and jarring and the
Oh.
the food safety side of it, that
Yeah.
is a whole world unto itself.
Yeah.
Like to make something that fresh and taste that good that American Spoon do, and to keep within the letter of the law,
Mhm.
which they clearly, absolutely do, is very hard.
Yeah.
Because you are pushed into a box where it's like, oh, just put this preserve in, and then you're fine. Just put this chemical in, and you'll be fine. No, just do this, you'll be fine. No, they've worked around the corners to make it work without doing that stuff. It's like the reason my turkey gravy is amazing is got none of that garbage in it. But to put that in a jar would be probably quite challenging, would be my piece.
Right.
My God, jarred turkey gravy.
Yeah.
That's good. Canned turkey gravy that's good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because that my mother-in-law will buy the canned turkey gravy that's like that white, slightly opaque, like dishwater-looking stuff. Have you ever one of those cans?
No, yeah.
I've had those at some family gatherings before. My God. Okay, American Spoon, you and I, we should sit and talk about turkey gravy. I don't know. Would that be like one of their first? That must be one of their first meat products. That would be.
Mm.
I
Meat
think any of
products.
that has meat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Exciting.
Okay.
We're making history.
I'm going to end this now. But I do think that this would be a fun live one if we went up there. We should do some lives. All right. Thanks, my guys. We will see you soon. Thank you so much, my lovelies, for tuning in and listening to today's episode of the Heartland Hot Dish Podcast. Hit that like button, subscribe, and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us grow and reach more listeners just like you. Until next time, keep savoring the flavors of the Heartland and sharing the love for this vibrant community. Take care and stay connected.